Chapter 36. The debrief from Obsidian was received as excellent news for the travelers. It seemed that he had brokered a peace between the sea dragons and the werewolves, but it also signaled a shift of power that concerned one who and his constant companion, the Whisperer. On the one hand, having Obsidian as the werewolves' representative to the Queen gave them power, but for how long? The Queen could kill Obsidian at any time, or she could seduce him to become a mere pawn of her conniving ways. The likelihood that Obsidian would remain their faithful guardian was now diminished, despite the proposition of peace that they were now the benefactors of. It was early evening when they finished their debrief. Alter, somewhat in a daze from all of the excitement, walked to the shoreline, watching the waves come in with a persistence that only nature can bring. The others were planning the logistics of getting to the island to observe the ceremony of the two dragons being betrothed as queen and king. As Alter scanned the blurry horizon of light, pinks and violets, she could hear a voice way in the distance.
Can you hear me?
She wondered if it was to her that the voice spoke. She turned around and saw no one else on the beach. No one was in the water. It was definitely a sea dragon's voice.
I hear you. Are you speaking to me?
The next time it spoke, it was clearer. Closer.
It's me, Hanabe. Remember me?
Alter nodded.
I do.
Are you aware of what is happening?
I believe so.
There was a long pause. Alter began to wonder if she was imagining the whole thing. Then she saw a ripple 20 meters directly in front of her, and a shiny head arose atop the waterline.
Our queen has found a way to make offspring, not just any kind of offspring, the kind that can swim and fly. That kind rules all space, everywhere on this planet. She is creating her empire, and all of us will be in servitude to this new class of creature that she will birth into this world with the help of your black dragon.
Hanabe whispered loudly.
Why are you telling me? Why have you come here to find me and tell me this story?
It is the real purpose of this supposed peace. Once she has her offspring, do you think your dragon will survive?
How do you know this?
Everyone knows this. How do you not know?
Hanabe paused, and in the silence of that pause, Alter studied the situation. She often would touch her antlers when she would go deep into her thoughts. They were like conduits for her to connect with something greater, something that she was not yet aware of. But it was forming inside her, nonetheless.
She is bringing a new species,
Alter whispered to herself.
one that will rule, and where one rules, all others serve.
Hanabe continued.
It will take time. When the time is served, our queen will rule everything. No one will be allowed to hide in their independence. Their individuality will be squashed. We will all become servants to the queen and her offspring. Is that the kind of world you want to live in?
Alter unconsciously shook her head.
And with her powers, what is the alternative?
You cannot let your black dragon sire her offspring.
How do you know this?
It has been her obsession since Adam and Eve first reported seeing the black dragon. She has wanted this unholy of all alliances to be her method of obtaining godhood on this planet. She does not think in terms of days or even years. She thinks in terms of centuries upon centuries upon centuries. Her plan is to own this planet, to rule over it as hers, as if someone can own an entire planet.
You haven't answered my question. You have only spouted opinions.
I know this because I am her highest advisor.
Hanabe blurted out.
I am telling you this because I am already dead. She will know that I have betrayed her. She seems to know everything. She is extremely smart. I will give her that. She is ambitious beyond what you or your friends could imagine. She is, in her mind, God. and there is no one who can persuade her otherwise. If she mates with your black dragon, you may have peace for many years, but behind the curtain, there is a secret plan, hatching with eggs, and the offspring of these two creatures will one day become a new queen and king, replacing the old, and the new will be unstoppable.
Alter sighed long and hard.
How do we stop the queen? Isn't she also unstoppable?
If she has a weakness, it is the black dragon. Only he can kill her. And this he must do. If he does not, if he fails, if he waits too long, if he falls under her charms, we are all lost, and our various lineages will transform from willful, independent, free creatures of hope and daring to creatures of servitude, to the ambitions of a dictator who only sees power as the thing worth having.
How did you become the queen's advisor?
Alter asked.
She must trust you.
I am, if anything else, a good actor. My advisory services were happenstance, which is another way of saying it was my destiny, I suppose. When she first came to our world, it was I who noticed her first and introduced her to my fellow creatures. Everyone who saw her was in awe of her powers, her tremendous size, and her superior intelligence. It was obvious to all of us that she was a higher version of us. Only because I was the one who found her, I became her trusted advisor.
And why have you now become the one to betray her?
Hanabe whispered as if she was fearful of being heard.
I know her plans better than anyone else. It is as simple as that.
He already tried
Alter whispered in return.
Tried what?
to kill her.
And it obviously didn't work. Look, she will not kill him unless it is the only option. Otherwise, she will simply defend herself by stopping time.
Hanabe looked behind as if something startled her.
It is such a powerful weapon to control time.
There was a short pause when the lapping water was the only sound.
All I am suggesting
Hanabe's voice became even softer.
is that your black dragon should try again, and never stop until one time he is successful. That is the only hope for everyone on this planet today and in the future.
I will discuss it with my friends.
Alter said.
That's all I can do.
Hanabe bowed slightly in the water.
I must return. I leave with appreciation.
The rounded head dipped below the water. A flurry of ripples went out in all directions as the creature swam away in the general direction of the island. Alter watched for several minutes as she imagined the sea dragon swimming underwater, and then suddenly it breached the surface and flew for a short time above the water. She could feel the freedom that it must feel. She could feel its surfaces, its layers of flesh, its fins, its eyes, its breath, its small wings. In a single instant, it all suddenly became clear to her, and she knew, without a doubt, that she could transform into a sea dragon. The template had been cast. If she had wanted, in that very instant, she could have shapeshifted into a sea dragon. But she needed to talk with Obsidian before he left for the island to announce his betrothal with the queen. The peace that lay ahead was as much an illusion as their plans for mated bliss. She kicked the sand yet walked away with a new purpose.